afternoon, everyone. If you're in Houston, welcome Houstonians. If you're not, well, welcome to Houston. So if you haven't been here before, this is the Resource Roundup with me, Reyes. I am the program's coordinator for Fresh Arts. And Fresh Arts, if you don't know who we are a nonprofit arts organization based primarily out of Houston, Texas. And what we do is we provide resources to artists and creatives, whether it be through knowledge sharing, such as our newsletters, or what you're watching today, or through our direct programming, such as our workshops and peer labs, all that good stuff, in which I'll always tell you about when you tune in. If you've been here before, welcome back. I hope you've been well since last time. Well, so today we're going to have a bunch of opportunities. As you know, I'm going to give you some tips to how to approach these, and hopefully you can get some money, get some opportunity in your life. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but I just want to say that there's quite a bit of stuff that we're going to get through, but we have our own stuff. So please stay through to the end. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the National Endowment for the Arts, which is their grants for arts projects. And so this is kind of, if you've ever applied for anything the NEA provides, it is always a little bit tricky. But here, the trick is that it encourages applications from a variety of eligible organizations, right? So if you're an organization or if you're an artist working with an organization, definitely check this one out. The deadline for the application is February 11th, and it does offer matching grants, but it is a good chunk of change. So if you can swing it, do it. It's pretty much, it's money that's there for you to use. So this is due Thursday, February 11th. Up next, we have the virtual Midtown Art in the Park 2021 call for artists. So if you've ever been to Midtown Art in the Park, I have. It's a really cool experience, but this time it's going to be virtual, obviously with everything going on. And so this is closing on February 15th. They're looking for people or artists rather that have a online store or some kind of like experience with online selling stuff online. Which in this case, hopefully you have experience with that, or at least have the infrastructure set up. At least that's definitely what we try to preach or try to teach. And so if you haven't been in tuned with Fresh Arts, we have some resources on that, or we will. It's only a matter of time. But again, here is a really cool opportunity for Houstonians for the Midtown Art in the Park. And I do kind of miss Midtown. I miss those coffee shops and all that good stuff. So someday. And so we're going to have a string of job openings, which is a good thing, right? So the first one, and so also keep in mind for these job opportunities, it says February 15th, but the issue is that for a lot of these job postings, you know how it is, they'll be like as applications come in or until the position is filled. So I'm not going to guarantee that this thing closes on February 15th. So as soon as you see this and you're interested, just start applying. Because really it's due as soon as possible. And that's always kind of the tricky things with jobs, as you know. So the Houston Ballet is looking for an Academy Administrative Coordinator. The Houston Ballet, if you don't know, they do all the dancing and all that good stuff. So luckily you don't have to do that in this position. You are just the administrative coordinator for the Academy. So this is due ASAP. Likewise, there's kind of like a new nonprofit organization here called India House. They're looking for a grants writer. This is an interesting one in that I believe I received this tip from a grant writers association. And so this is I believe a relatively new nonprofit here in Houston, Texas. They're looking for a grants writer, but the thing is that they're so new that they don't even have the position established, and so they're open to you kind of speaking to them of how you want that to go. So you can go full-time, you can go part-time, you can negotiate your salary, or if you want to do just contract work with them. But definitely check this one out if you are looking for a grants writing job. And they're pretty amenable, from what I've read, to you defining what this role is exactly. So check that out. And again, it's due ASAP. As always, I can't guarantee that it's going to be, you have this amount of time to apply, just because, again, a lot of these positions are, as the resumes come in. So as soon as you see this, apply. This one, though, I can guarantee that this one is closing fairly soon, just because Catastrophic Theater was cool enough to let me know. But this is, again, coming up pretty soon, but they're looking for a new managing director. The salary is $53,000 with room for growth and includes health insurance. So get that insurance. And again, this is one of those things where as soon as you see this, apply. But you do got some leeway with this one because they do have a hard head deadline that you can look at. But this is for the managing director for Catastrophic Theater. And the next job opening we have is the Houston Symphony. They're looking for an associate director of education and community engagement. It is a full-time position. So you would essentially be looking at all the schools and getting all the schools there, I believe, and their partnerships with the schools and community around Houston. So again, this is another one of those ones where it says February 15th, but I can't guarantee that. That's just when I'll keep it open, and then I'll probably check up on it again on February 15th to see if it's still open. But again, as soon as you see this and you're interested, start applying. Again, I can't guarantee that it's going to stay on until February 15th, or if it's going to stay on to the end of the month. That's just the nature of the game sometimes. But definitely, if you're interested in this and you're seeing this, apply now. All right, so we're kind of moving away from job openings and into some calls for entries and grants. So this call for entry is a partnership between Mujeres Malas and Fifth Wheel Press. Mujeres Malas is a local arts group made of some really, really great artists. And so for this, they're just looking for a group zine call for submissions. It is open to any lens-based artists of marginalized genders. This is due Monday, February 15th. It is a minimal fee of $5 to submit. And this is like an indie press. So it would go to a good cause is what I'm saying. So sometimes I get it, like submission fees, I often disagree with them, but sometimes it really is to help kind of offset costs that otherwise you wouldn't be able to get elsewhere. So submit to get in, but also submit to support this really cool project. Up next, we have the 34th Annual McNeese National Works on Paper exhibition. This is due Tuesday, February 16th. So this is an interesting opportunity for people who work with paper. So eligible for entry are works in any medium that is on or of paper. So that's fairly open to interpretation, it seems. But they do have a dimension limitation. They should not exceed 40 inches in any dimension. And the thing is that they have $3,000 available for purchase awards. So they're going to be spending some money, if you know what I mean. So if you're interested, if you do that kind of work, you should submit. It is unfortunately got a bit of a fee of $35. But if you know what you got is good, believe in yourself. And I'm actually going to get into submission fees in a minute because it's going to become relevant, and you'll see why. So this is due Tuesday, February 16th. Up next, we have the Good Heart Artist Residency, writer and songwriter open call. The Good Heart Artist Residency is looking for writers and composers / songwriters. And they actually have all the dates spelled out for you when, depending on which of those you choose, but they already have that spelled out for you. So definitely check this out. This is in Michigan. So I wouldn't go to Michigan, but if you do, and if you do apply, if you do get this, you're gonna get a studio, a residency, so kind of like probably an apartment or something, food, and a $500 stipend. So it's kind of like a good package. So if you're looking for a getaway to work on your music or your writing, definitely check this one out. Unfortunately, again, a fee of $25, but you have some time to apply. And again, I'll get into some things that maybe you don't know about submission fees in a minute that it ties to another program we're doing. Up next, we have the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. They have an opening for the Houston Poet Laureate, and so this is really exciting for me, just because as a writer, I feel like poet laureates are like awesome, because it shows kind of an investment on behalf of a city, on behalf of a government, to invest in the voice, right? The voice of a city. And so all the poets laureate thus far have been amazing, ranging from Gwendolyn Cepeda to Deborah D. Mouton to Leslie Contreras Schwartz. And so they're looking for the next one. Robin Davidson, I believe, is another one, poet laureate. So this is due Thursday, February 25th. I've actually served on a panel to select the poet laureate, which was an awesome honor, to debate with other people about, the state of Houston poetry. So it was really cool. But for this one, what makes it interesting is that there's a criteria for nomination. So you kind of you have to be nominated. But the thing is that you can nominate yourself. But obviously, it's going to look stronger if someone else nominates you. So if you can do that, get someone to write the 2 to 3 paragraphs nominating you. And this one is at least 10 published poems, or at least top ranking as in an international poetry slam, or you have at least one full-length book. But it's really cool that they have the combination of requirements that you can fulfill rather than just one. So if you fulfill any of these, definitely apply. You have to come up with a project, an outreach project. And again, you can always go to our toolkits to see the grant proposal writing workshop, or rather the toolkit. And that one will help you if you don't know how to do like a community outreach project. It's pretty much just like a grant project, right? Like a project with a grant behind it. So if you're looking to apply to this, definitely check out our grant writing toolkit. And also just keep in mind that it's going to be a room full of people, room full of poets. They're going to be kind of debating on who should be the next poet laureate. So always put your best foot forward. You never know who's going to be reading your stuff. So when you pick those 10 poems, make sure they're good. Make sure they would represent a library, right? So that's because it's pretty much what you're going to do. You're going to be representing the city of Houston. So just keep that in mind. It is free to apply. This is due again February 25th. So get to work on the nominating statement as soon as you can. That's probably where some of the trip up is going to be. Up next, we have the Houston B-Cycle Commission Contest. This is due Friday, February 26th. It is free to apply, but what they're looking for is artists to essentially artify, if I can create that word, a B-cycle station, or two, rather, LaBranch and Lamar, or Brazos and McGowan. So they're looking for 2 artists to decorate their B-cycle station, and each artist will receive $3,000. So it's a good chunk of change. So definitely check this one out if you qualify, and if you've ever designed anything that is outside, the norm. I've never designed a bicycle station or B-cycle station. So if you get it, you let me know, and I'll be happy to learn from you. And so all the contest regulations are there. So definitely submit. If you get it, let us know. Up next is it's a government program. So this is going to be one of those ones that you're going to want to look into, the nitty gritty of it. But this is the U.S. Small Business Administration Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. And what it does is it provides grants to shuttered venues, particularly art venues. So if you've had to shutter, if you've had to close because of the COVID pandemic, definitely check out and see if you qualify for this. It's government money, so it's yours to access. So here are all the details. It's not accepting applications yet, but I'm putting this on the radar because usually a lot of government grants and aids and stuff like that, they require a bit amount of like paperwork. So I'm letting you know now. So there's no due date for now, but I'm letting you know now in case it opens like tomorrow or at the end of the month. I don't know, but just to like be ready and have that on your radar. So definitely check this one out. Keep revisiting this one and see when that opens and see what the final rules are. Up next, we have Creative Capital 2022. This is, I think if you've seen the last episode, I'm just going to reiterate, this is hard mode, right, for individual artist grants. They only open it up for a month from February 1st to March 1st. But the cool thing is that you can read and prepare all the questions at any time. And if you're seeing this and if you're interested in applying, go ahead and just read those questions from now, because they definitely do take time to fill out, to think about and to write and to edit. So as soon as you see this, read the questions and start applying as soon as you can. And even start a group. I'm applying and I'm starting kind of like a little study group with it because it's $50,000 and additional career development services. This is kind of one of those make game-changing opportunities. People have won, writers, I will say, have won like Man Booker prizes based on this thing. So I know it seems like a little bit of work, but it's high risk, high reward, or high investment, kind of an investment in terms of time. It's free to apply, but in terms of time, it's kind of an investment, but the reward is huge. So this is definitely one of those ones that can make a career. So check this one out. Up next, we have the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft Artist Residency Program. The good people at HCCC offer this really awesome residency program. However, I'm not a crafting artist. So if you are, this is pretty much made for you. So this is really cool because you get a 24/7 access to studio space, professional development opportunities, a monthly stipend of $1,000. That includes a housing materials allowance. They're available in 3, 6, 9, and 12-month time periods. So, pick your poison. Just kidding. But again, if you can have one from 3 months to 12 months, and why is that relevant? Well, it's because just depending on your lifestyle, there's a more in-depth conversation about that in our podcast, Should I or Shouldn't I? The last episode 6, discusses really the pros and cons of taking so much time off, right, or not. And so definitely check that out. But this is a really great opportunity. They are accepting people who work in wood, glass, metal, fiber, clay, and mixed media. So y'all know exactly what that means. I don't know what that means, but you do you, and I only wish the best for you. This is due Monday, March 1st. Up next, we have the Texas Mental Health Creative Arts Contest. This is a cool contest that happens every year that I've seen, I think maybe for the last 3 or 5 years. I'm not sure. Maybe it says here, but either way, it's a really cool opportunity. You get to submit art that focuses on a really important topic. But another cool thing is that it has open to elementary, middle school, high school, and adults. So there's really cool. You don't really see that often, is what I'm saying, is kind of that mixing of different generational artists in one location. So I think that's a really cool aspect of this. And so they're accepting literary arts and visual art submissions, whether it be artwork, writing, and photography. So definitely submit if you have any art or anything that touches upon mental health. This is due Monday, March 1st. It's free to apply. And the final opportunity I'm going to talk about is the National Endowment for the Arts Literature Fellowship. This is closing on March 10th. But again, this is one of those things, again, it's a government organization. So the paperwork tends to be more detailed. So I'm telling you now, just in terms of like, you're going to have to do stuff that you've probably not done before, unless if you've applied to this before. For example, one thing you have to do is you have to, where is it? Okay, it's not in here, but one thing they don't tell you that you have to do is you have to list the like certain amount of publications, and you have to like write them. So you have to have the ISBN, you have to have the website, and you have to have the address. I don't know. Anyways, I've done it before. It's a pain. It takes a minute to do, but it's $25,000. So for about an hour and a half's work, I think that's kind of worth it. So definitely check this one out. It's free to apply, due March 10th. All right. And so the next thing I want to talk about is last week, or rather 2 weeks ago, we had our workshop, and you can access it here through our YouTube channel, which has a number of other discussions and workshops. But 2 weeks ago, we had our goal-setting workshop, Strategies for Creatives, with Epi Chad, an amazing artist in her own right, but also a really great teacher. And so if you didn't see this, it's free to watch. It's available on our YouTube channel. You should be seeing a link on the bottom somewhere, but essentially we commissioned this workshop and work with Epi to create this workshop because we know artists kind of have their own take on goals and what they aspire to do. And really for artists, the payoff usually isn't, immediate. It's usually years of investment in honing your craft. And I think this goal setting workshop is really, really great for that kind of mindset, right? Of how do you think 5 years into the future with your creative work? And so, it's actually fairly liberating, ironically, because you're structuring so many things. It's actually kind of liberating. So definitely check this one out. And there is a toolkit that goes along with it that I recommend downloading and filling out first, because Epi only goes into more detail with it, but it's right here. If you've interacted with their toolkit page before, maybe you ran into some issues, but it's totally cool now. It's totally perfect. So all you have to do is just provide your email, zip code, and it's yours for free. You get a PDF directly to your email account. So definitely check out the goal setting tools for creatives for this context, but we have some other cool toolkits for you to check out and fill out to probably create the best version of what you can of your work in regards to budgets, grant proposals, statements and bios, all that good stuff. Check it out. And the final thing I want to talk about today is our famous, really awesome workshop that we do. Pretty much we've done every year for the last maybe 6 years, is our partnership with TALA, Texas Accountants and Lawyers for the Arts, workshop called The Art of Taxes, which I always thought it was a really great title just because it's a tax workshop made for artists and creatives. And so this year it's going to be in 2 parts. Usually it's 1 part, but I'm glad they're making it 2 parts because there is a lot of information and things have changed, to say the least. They're especially, one thing I appreciate that they're going through is they're going to go through some aids and in regards to any funding you receive that's usually not to your norm, whether it be through grants or mutual aid programs, all that good stuff. So one thing that I wanted to mention, another reason to go to this or to kind of start thinking about your taxes, is because you remember how submission fees I mentioned earlier? Well, you can write off submission fees depending on your situation, because that is a business expense. It is what you're investing in. It's investing in your art. So definitely check this out. Definitely get in the know of your taxes. It's very important. And for that, we're going to play a video made by Tala. So let me set that up. So we're going to play a quick video, then we'll come back, and then we'll be done. But watch this quick video.
Hi, I'm Elisa with Texas Accountants and Lawyers for the Arts, and I'm here to tell you about our upcoming 2-part series, The Art of Texas, coming on February 17th and 24th, 2021. We'll be telling you all about the new tax season changes and giving you tips on completing your tax return. We're disappointed we can't be in Houston in person this year, but we have two excellent CPAs to join us to teach you all about the changes in the tax law. Joining us today is Lisa Sretenovic, one of the presenters, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the seminar content.
Hello, I am the Velocity Detective. My name is Lisa Sretenovic, and I am a CPA. On February 17th, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to make sure that you have all of your accounting records in order to make sure that you capture all of those tax deductions that you really need, right? We're going to be talking about the difference between a business and a hobby, and a little bit difference between what a sole proprietor and an independent contractor are as compared to maybe a C corporation or an LLC. We're going to talk about the best practices to make sure that you have all of your records in the proper order, and maybe dive into something like 1099s and W9s and as compared to like W2s. At the end of that session on February 17th, we're also going to touch on how to report your unemployment. If you got that from the state of Texas, we're going to talk about the PPP-1 and forgiveness, as well as about the PPP-2. We're going to start the February 24th seminar about PPP-2. And then we're going to talk about actually the tax return, right? What is your home deduction? What are the mileage deductions and all sorts of other things that you're going to be able to deduct from your tax return? How to deal with self-employment tax. What is Section 199A? Oh my goodness. So you guys, make sure to sign up for the February 17th and February 24th sessions. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lisa. And also joining us for both seminars will be Houston-based CPA Kathy Plow. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen her and heard her speak in Houston before, and we're thrilled to have two CPAs to co-present this series. So please join us and your friends at Fresh Arts for the Art of Taxes on February 17th and 24th at 6:30 p.m. Thank you. We'll see you then. Bye.
And there you have it. So it's free to register. You just have to register and you get all this cool information. I can't tell you how like awesome it is when like I'm going through my expenses and my write-offs and I'm like, yo, I didn't know I could write that off. Like I've been spending all this money on books and I just thought it was for, you know, for my reading pleasure, but it's actually kind of a business expense when you think about it. So definitely check that out. Definitely attend. It's 2 parts. Go to both. So that's it for today's resource roundup with me, Reyes. I just want to thank the other teammates over at Fresh Arts. I want to thank Angela on the back. Want to thank our newest intern, Natalie, and all the and the rest, whether it be Marcy and Micah and Julia. And I hope everything is well with you and your family and your community. So apply. Let us know if you get anything. We're always happy to sing of you. So get out there, get that money, get those opportunities. I'll see you next time.